I just want to make a pretty quick video, and you know, the subject of maintenance and how this kind of compares to other armors and things like that. And I gotta say, like I said earlier in my other videos, especially my last one, in my short, like, plate armor is relatively easy to maintain. It's actually one of the easiest armors to maintain, I believe. Not quite as easy as chainmail. I think chainmail, in my opinion, is the easiest form of armor to maintain. I think plate like this is second place. So plate armor is second place, and then you had, I don't know what would be third, to be honest. And you had mirror armors, which I don't know, that looks kind of tricky. Burgundying, this seems to be pretty tricky. And then you have scale armor, seems pretty tricky as well. And you had lamellar armor, which I think that would be a nightmare to maintain. And I would say that because this armor just got rained on. I was wearing it at the Ren Fair. I was with the group, and it was just giant storm came in and just rained. It was just rain. It was so bad you couldn't really see too well after 30 feet. it was a little hard to see after 30 feet. It was pretty bad. And as you can see, you know, being blackened steel on top of that, it's actually very good. It handled it very well. I don't see any flash rusting anywhere so far. So this is quite amazing. So, you know, it's painted armor. This is blackened and that's blackened. But this was spray painted right here. You can see how badly the water damage is compared to something like, you know, if you're gonna paint it, I recommend something like a paint they use for the bed of the truck, like this. You can see this held up a lot better than this right here. I mean, let me take this off. Let's see how bad it's. Like, look at that. Yeah, it's a little bit of rust, but it's not a big deal. And you know, this helmet right here just completely held up very well, surprisingly well. And you can see this here, like, yeah. So I'll just have to retouch it, and you know, don't really worry too much about rust. You know, gotta worry about when you're maintaining plate. You gotta, you know, look at the rivets, see how it moves, check how it moves, check the cords, or sorry, straps. These are not cords, the straps. They'll last a long time. You'll be surprised. I just got one strap on this thing replaced on here recently. The strap I had before was about 13, 14 years old. So I got a new one. So they last quite a bit. You know, and, you know, yeah, I didn't really maintain the old straps on that like I do now with this new stuff. So I start, you know, this is a new strap. I'm going to take care of it. So it'll probably last a lot longer if you maintain it. You know, check those things. You know, checking this bever, for example. You know, it's check, you know, how it moves. It goes down. Okay, everything seems like it's functioning pretty well. Put it back up, you know. And it's a little bit trickier doing it with one hand. Just, you know, holding the phone here. And there you go. See? You know, make sure the rivet's working fine. If there's any rust in here, I think there's a little bit right there. You just oil that, or just, you know, scratch it, you know, scratch it off or whatever, brush it off, or paint it over. No big deal. This right here, the outside has been blackened. I don't know with what oil. I think the armor talked to believes that they might have done it with motor oil, a thin layer, and then just cooked it on there, you know. And the back here is painted. So this helmet has been blackened beyond belief with some kind of tar material mixed with linseed oil or something. The guy that made this, like, just cooked it on there beyond belief. It's very, very scratch resistant. So and it does very, very good job. And on top of that, this particular helmet, everything else is made out of mild steel. Although I like to get a set that's made out of a bit higher carbon and heat treated steel, like spring steel. That's coming up next. It's gonna be Gothic. And but this one right here is made out of 4130 steel alloy, 2 millimeters. So it's quite impressive. So 4130 has a little bit of an anti-corrosion resistant, and it's strong because of the I guess chromium it has in it, chromium. So that little bit of chromium helps against rust, but also strengthens the steel. But yeah, this thing is it's solid as heck. And even being that thick, yeah, you could, when you pick it up, you could feel it's a little hefty. But when you're wearing the head, it's not that bad. I had people that wore this helmet, and and they're surprised how comfortable it was after they wore it for a while. And even though they feels kind of hefty when you throw it, you're like, wow, 2 millimeters thick of this, dude. And in some spots I was measuring, and some spots of it's 2.2, 2.1 millimeters thick, surprisingly. I think most of it was 2 millimeters though. So this is a thick helmet, and it's also heat treated too. So it's heat treated 4130, 2 millimeters thick. This thing is, yeah, it's super solid. And people wore this and they're surprised how comfortable it felt on their head. So don't take my word for it. That's them. They're saying it. They wore it for like an hour, and they're like, wow, this thing is really comfortable actually. So it's really well made. So anyways, I think there's a lot of aspects to it. Plate armor, there's a lot of misunderstandings about medieval armor and stuff, and especially European armor for some reason. It seems like it's a lot of misunderstandings. And why they wear something so heavy. It's not that heavy. I mean, like I said in my other videos, and I said earlier, whatever, plate armor is the lightest form of metal armor out there when it comes to cover to weight ratio. So if you're some kind of mercenary in the past, or an explorer or something like this would be great. It's robust, it's strong, it's not gonna damage easy, it's easy to maintain, you don't have to mess with it too much, so you don't have to maintain it very much. And if you do, like I said, it's quite simple. And and if you want to cover the gaps, just get chainmail. Anyway, so I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll talk more about this kind of stuff later.